Welcome back with Detailing with Gary here. Today, guys, we're going to be talking about what a swirl mark is. A swirl mark is basically just circular, a whole bunch of circles, almost like a spider web looking thing that is basically like on your paint. So whenever the sun hits it, that's what is going to like kind of pop at you guys instead of just seeing like freshly clean paint. So how those happen is whenever you take it to the car wash, which has those spinning things, and then just like not washing it right, washing it in circular motions, just washing it whenever it's dirty and you don't give it a nice good rinse. So we're gonna be talking about here how you can do to like remove it or like maintain your car so you don't get those swirl marks. So one is basically just you have to wash it properly. So in order to do that, you're gonna need a mitt, which I'm gonna be putting on the side. So you need a mitt so that way you're not using that sponge, because the mitt is like that microfiber mitt. So it's gonna like go on your paint nice and smooth, and then you also wanna go in one direction at a time. So if you're going left to right, you wanna keep that motion throughout the whole car. And then as you get to the bottom, you're gonna be using 2 buckets. So that's gonna be your second step on the wash. You having 2 buckets with the grit guard, either in one or the other, or if you have 2, that's perfect. So as you go section by section, you're gonna basically just wipe your mitt down in the bucket to get all that debris off. If you do not have a grit guard, you could also just use the water hose, rinse the mitt, shake it off the water too, and then just dip it back in the clean one and then the soap, and then just keep going. You also, what I like to do is just wash the car from top to bottom, because the bottom is where all that dirt and stuff is when you're going on the road. Those tires tend to get your doors and then your fenders. So that's basically what is the most dirty. And then just cleaning it with the microfiber towel, because the microfiber towel is nice and flush. And then once again, wipe in the same direction. Also, do not use dish soap, because that can make your paint dull, because it is not like car soap. So you want to use the actual car soap. It doesn't matter which one it is, as long as it's car soap and it's not dish soap. Alright, so now we're going to be talking about how you can remove the swirls. So one, you could always use a buffer or polisher. A buffer is basically kind of almost if you would wet sand and then you'll buff the spot, but then it's going to leave some swirl marks still. Sometimes, most of the time it does, but most of the time it doesn't. It's probably just minimal swirls. And then after you're done buffing it, you can just polish it. So the polish is going to remove those swirl marks and the haziness from the buffer. If not, if you have some good compounds, I use Chemical Guys, the V line, basically VSS V32 through 38. That does a good job removing swirls, as you guys seen in my couple of my videos. Like I did this polishing one on the Honda Pilot. That paint was extremely dull, and whenever it'll be in the shade, you cannot see no reflection. So I brought it shine back. I also did my mom's Lincoln. I don't think I made a video on that one yet, but hopefully one day I will show you guys how clean the paint looks. So if you guys want to eliminate swirls, you can do the polishing process, and then I would recommend using some new microfibers whenever you guys wipe down that compound off, so that way you don't scratch your paint with the older ones. And then as we get further into the video, make sure I will be leaving all the links down below. After you're done polishing, there's an iron remover if you want to apply ceramic coatings, or maybe if you want to apply a wax or something, either by hand or the spray bottle waxes. I just got the, not the Chemical Guys. I think they have a Chemical Guys High Gloss, I think it is called. But I like to use the NYX Professional Supplies, the all-purpose cleaner for the basically interior. And then for the exterior on the paint, I like to use their High Gloss. I will be putting up a picture of my sister's car when I applied it. It's basically just a spray wax, simple, nice and easy. It's Red Cruise. So if you guys haven't checked out that video, scroll down below and find it so you guys can see it towards the end of the video. That's when I just basically sprayed it, and then you guys can check that out. So as you guys know what a swirl is and all of that, we're gonna be talking about how you can maintain it through the winter, as many of you guys are wondering. What about like the snow and stuff? So if you live in a state or place somewhere where it just kind of snows slightly, you could probably just use a leaf blower or just have a nice plush stick. I'll probably be putting one here. And then if you haven't checked out my snow video, it's basically your snow stick or snow broom, I should say. And then you're just gonna wrap a microfiber towel over it so that way you really don't damage your paint. And then also you don't want to be scrubbing all that ice off and stuff, because then that could damage your paint. It's gonna cause straight scratches instead of like swirl marks. But if you have a nice plush one, you could just do it like without the microfiber. But I would still recommend using a microfiber towel with some rubber bands on the side to kind of hold it, and then just go in one direction. So if it is icy, just probably turn on your car. The engine could cool your hood, and then that should melt some of that on your hood. But other than that, I wouldn't recommend like scrubbing it, just doing something light. And then don't get your snow broom dirty, like putting it on the floor and stuff, because as soon as it collects debris and stuff, you go put it on your paint, it's gonna cause a whole bunch of scratches. So you wanna prevent that from happening, keeping your car nice and clean. Also washing it maybe twice or 3 times a week, depending if it's not in the negatives, because if it's in the negatives, it could probably freeze. And then once again, you could either do the just rinsing it even if you don't wash it, because it'll eliminate all that salt that's been thrown in the dirt, in the road. And then after you basically just wash it, you could dry it with the microfiber towel, or if you take it through the touchless car wash, which is just has the water pressure on the sides and then the soap through the sides that doesn't touch your car. That one is way better than the other one. And then that one also dries it. You could also take a microfiber towel to dry it so that way it doesn't freeze or anything. But other than that, you should be good for the washing process. Just something else I wanted to throw in here is that removing the swirl marks is going to take away some of your clear coat. It's not a lot. I think it's like 0.1 or 0.2. But if you get basically like a new car, your car should have between 3.4 to 3.6 of clear coat, which as you remove, it's basically just cutting some of that clear coat. So you guys can also keep that in mind if you have an older car. Make sure you don't do a whole crazy bunch of passes, because as you get, the more passes you do, it could also uneven the clear coat. And then let's say if you have this really bad scratch and you do like 10 passes, you could burn through the clear coat, and then there's gonna be your base coat, and then you're gonna have to get your car either like re-cleared or something, which is more expensive. So just keep in mind, don't burn through the clear coat. Make sure on your edges, you do not want to like go crazy, because that's where the less paint is, the less clear. Because whenever you're shooting a car, it basically just falls in through the flatter sides instead of like the bent areas. So you're gonna get more on the flatter sides than the bent curvy areas where it is harder to get to. So that's something you guys can keep in mind when you're either polishing a car, or if you're learning to polish a car. Make sure you do the flatter panels first, and then if you got some curves and stuff, just kind of do it lightly and not like try to go crazy. So as you guys kind of know now, a swirl mark is just basically not gonna give your paint in 100% luck. So whenever maybe you're just getting into your car and stuff, maybe you just washed it, nice clean wash, and it still looks dull, and it's probably because you have just basically swirls. So next time you guys look at your car or something, just see it in the sun, and then if you got a whole bunch of swirl marks, maybe you could take it to a detailer or stuff, or maybe you guys could check out the links down below and maybe do it yourselves. it is quite some money that you have to get, like a polisher and then your pads and then your compounds, microfiber towels, but it's not that hard. Also on your passes, you should go 50-50 overlaps. Soon, when it gets nicer here, I'll be showing you guys how you guys can polish your own car. So you guys can check that out soon. And then soon, once my interior sprays come, I'm gonna be showing you guys how you guys can protect your leather. But let's not get off topic here, and let's talk about more about swirl marks. So the swirl mark is basically, as I said, your paint is gonna look dull. Also, after you guys are done polishing, as I said earlier, there's that iron remover, so you guys can add that ceramic coating and the spray wax that you guys can do. So basically, I just want to tell you guys a little bit more in detail what a ceramic coating is. So there's this YouTuber detailer, his name is Pan the Organizer. He just did a video on pan thing or something. He put some ceramic coating. So if you guys want to see that interesting thing, you guys could go check out his channel. But it's basically just a thin layer with like high gloss that basically protects it. So it's basically almost like another layer of clear coat, which is kind of nice. So whenever you're drying your car, it will minimize scratches the most possible. Because even if you wash your car, let's say 10 times the right way, you're at least gonna get a couple scratches back. So a good way to do that is probably just to ceramic coat your car. It's gonna add a nice thin layer, and then some last up to 2 years, 4 or 6 years, just depending on the price and the brand. Cheaper ones will probably last less time, and then like once you get to the hundreds, they'll last you 4 years, 6 years. Some are more expensive, some are less, so it's just kind of a thing to keep in mind. And then those are applied basically by hand. They come in a little package area and stuff with the small bottle. So it's basically like a cube thing. I'll try to find the picture and put one up here. That is like kind of like a thing they use to clean your glasses that goes over the cube thing, and then you just put like a straight line of droplets or something, and then you basically just go in straight patterns. You always want to do that 50-50 overlap because you might miss a spot or two. So it's always nice to go in a crosshatch pattern, I would say. So basically going up and down and then side to side, left to right. So that's something that you guys can keep in mind once you're done polishing the car, or if you want to try this on your car. But that will basically be it for today's video. Hope you guys like this. If you guys have any questions, leave your comments down below. I will try to answer any questions. If not, that is basically it. Now you know what a swirl mark is. Maybe you could tell your friends, check out other cars, and then see, hey, that's a swirl mark. Do some polishing, whatnot. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, and see you guys next time. Peace.